Okay, so we are Daf Mem Hey Amud Aleph. Okay, but we're going to start from the bottom of Mem Dalid Amud Bet. Gufa, right? We said it. We had a statement before. Amar Ravin Bar Shmuel Mishmei de Shmuel. Ravin Bar Shmuel said in the name of Shmuel, HaMocher Sadeh Lechavero Shelo Ba'achayut. A person who sells his field to a friend without a guarantee, right? Reuven sells to Shimon without a guarantee. En me'id lo. He can no longer testify that the field belongs to Shimon, right? Reuven sold it to Shimon. He can no longer testify that it belongs to Shimon, right? Why? Because now he's able to have the Bar Chov go collect his debt from that field. If he establishes that it's his, then what's going to happen? There's going to be a Bar Chov, Levi. Levi is going to come along and say, hey, Reuven, you sold your field to Shimon, but wait a second, don't you owe me money? I'm going to go collect now from this field that you sold. And then what's going to happen? He's going to gain because now he paid back his loan, right? So he has an interest involved. He can no longer testify that the field belongs to Shimon. Says the Gemara, Hechidami. What exactly is the case? If Reuven has more land, if he has other lands, so what's going to happen when Levi is going to come to collect the loan? Where is he going to go? He's going to go to the other lands, right? He's not going to go to the land that he sold to Shimon. Okay. If he doesn't have any other lands, what difference does it make? Why? If he doesn't have any other land, what's going to happen? Levi is going to come to Reuven. Hey, pay me the land. Okay, go to Shimon. Shimon, give me the land, right? Okay, he's going to take the land. What difference does it make? Not to him, right? Again, what difference is it going to make to Reuven if Levi is going to take the land from Shimon or not? Regardless of whatever happens, Reuven is not going to have to pay anything else because he doesn't have anything else, right? That's one. And number two, he sold it to him without a guarantee. So that means if someone is going to come and take the land, he has no interest, right?
Sold the land, so he must have the cash.
No, he used it. He used the cash. Right? So again, he has no interest. So why can he not testify on it? Okay. So even though we said he sold it without a guarantee, what interest does he have that he wouldn't be able to testify on it? Okay. Says the Gemara, Leolam delet le'arachiti. He doesn't have any other land. The Amar lo nichad le'ave love rasha ve'lo yishalem. So he says like this. What's going to happen now? He doesn't have any other land to pay, right? So technically, he shouldn't have any interest involved because it makes no difference to him if it's going to be by Shimon or if it's going to be by Levi. Says the Gemara, you know what interest he's going to have? That it should stay by Shimon. That it should go to Levi rather than staying by Shimon.
Then it's finished. He paid his obligations and
he paid his obligation, but then what?
Get sued by Shimon.
No, he's not going to get sued. There's no guarantee. There's an issue of love rasha lo yishalem. That a person, if he borrows and he doesn't pay back, he's going to be called rasha. So this person, he doesn't want to be called rasha. So what? He's going to prefer that Levi is going to be able to come to collect the field from Shimon rather than giving the field to Yehuda. Rather than Yehuda coming to claim the field. Why? Because this way he's not going to be called rasha. Okay? Says the Gemara, Sof Sof, Ligabe idach nami, love rasha velo yishalem. Says the Gemara, wait a second. We just said that if he's not gonna pay back Levi, right? He's gonna be called rasha. Why is he gonna be called rasha? Love rasha lo yishalem, right? Okay. So wait a second. What about not paying back or not paying Shimon. Right? Now, what's going to happen? Levi, the person who he owes money to, is going to come. He's going to collect the field from Shimon. Right? Now, he technically owes Shimon. He technically owes money to Shimon. Reuven owes to Shimon. Why? Because he sold the field and Levi came to take the money from him. But technically, you would say, yeah, like again, I sell you something. Someone comes, takes it away from you. What are you gonna do? You're gonna come back to me, hey, it's not right. You sold me something that belongs to someone else. So what are you doing? So he says, who the but yes, you're right. That what? When he tells the guy that I'm selling it to you, shelo b'achayut, I'm selling it to you without a guarantee, what happens now? It's if a person borrows money and doesn't pay back, he's called rasha. He doesn't want to be called rasha. He has to pay the loan. And that's why he has an interest that the Baal Chov should come. So again, when he sells the field without a guarantee, what does he tell? What is he in essence telling Shimon?
Someone's gonna come to collect.
If someone comes to collect, don't have any complaints whatsoever. Which means that what in regards to Shimon versus Reuven or Reuven versus Shimon, there's not going to be Rasha lo Yishalem. When is there going to be Rasha lo Yishalem? Versus Levi. So that's why Reuven has an interest to testify that the field belongs to him, meaning that he would that when he sold it to Shimon, it was a valid sale, right? So this way, if Levi is going to come along, Levi is going to be able to collect his loan from the field, right? And then he won't be called a rasha. And what's the main interest involved? That he won't be called a rasha because regardless, he doesn't have the money to pay. But at least now he's not going to be called a rasha. Okay, so let me just summarize quickly this last thing. We were saying that when a person sells a field, shelo ba'achayut, okay, a person sells a field without any guarantee. In this case, he is no longer able to testify that the field belongs to Shimon, or the field again. Let's say with names. Shimon owns a field. He sells it to Reuven. Okay, Shimon sells to Reuven. He is no longer able to testify that the field belonged to him originally and that he sold it rightfully to Reuven. Why not? Because let's say what's going to happen is Levi, okay, who's coming to contest, the field? Yehuda. Yehuda is coming to say that, wait a second, Shimon, how did you sell the field to Reuven? The field belongs to me. It didn't belong to you. Okay? He's not able to testify. Why not? Because if Levi is going to come along, Shimon owed money to Levi. Okay? Shimon owed money to Levi. Now, Levi is going to come to Shimon, hey, pay me my loan. He's going to say, I don't have. Okay, so what am I going to do? He says, you know what? I sold the field not long ago to Reuven. Go collect the field from Reuven instead. Okay? Says the Gemara, wait a second. Why does he have an interest? What interest does it make to him? What difference does it make to him if Levi is going to get that field or Shimon is going to get that field? Or Reuven is going to get that field? At the end of the day, he got the money for the field. He sold it without a guarantee. He doesn't have any more money. So wherever the field is going to go, if it's going to go to Reuven or it's going to go to Levi, for him, it makes technically no difference. Says the Gemara, you know what difference it's going to make? Because if you're going to say that Levi cannot collect from this field, what's going to happen? He doesn't have money to pay Levi. You know what's going to happen? He's going to be called a rasha. Because a person who borrows and doesn't pay back, he's called a rasha. But now that Shimon, he has an interest, he has an interest that what? Levi can collect the field from Reuven. So because of this interest, he's no longer able to testify that the field belongs to Reuven against Levi, against Yehuda.
The last thing?
Against Yehuda, because Yehuda is coming to contest the field. Yehuda is coming to say that the field doesn't.
Someone will fight for it.
Exactly. Exactly.
For his good name.
Exactly.
So he's not able to.
That's why he has an interest involved, and that's why he's not able to testify in it.
We don't need any witnesses in this case?
No, each one is going to bring the proof, whatever the proof is.
What is the
Okay, each one is going to bring the proof. Each one is going to bring whatever proof he has, but not necessarily witnesses. Okay? Is he going to be able to be considered one of the witnesses? That's also maybe the question. Can he testify? Can he say, the field, I know for a fact it doesn't belong to Yehuda? Whatever, he's going to do something. He's going to do something about it. Okay. Says the Gemara, Machriz Rava v'item Rav Papa. Disalkin le'ela u'denachtin letata. The people that are going to Eretz Israel and the people that are coming from Eretz Israel, meaning the people from Bavel that are going up to Eretz Israel and the people from Eretz Israel that are going down to Bavel. Hai bar Israel dezavin lechamra leIsrael chavre v'ka'ati akum ve'anis le mine dinahu dimavtzile mine. If a Jew sells a donkey to another Jew, okay, and a goy comes along and he grabs this donkey, the original seller, okay, Reuven sells to Shimon, a goy comes and grabs the donkey from Shimon, Reuven has the obligation to come and to try to testify as much as possible to get back the donkey from the goy. Okay? And he can't say, I did my part, I sold you the donkey, you break your head afterwards. He has to do whatever he can to make sure that Shimon is going to get back the donkey. Velo Amran, he says, right? Rava, or some say in the name of, or some say it's Rav Papa. Velo Amran, ela she'eno makir ba shibat chamoro. Aval makir ba shibat chamoro. Lo. This is only true if this is not recognizable that it's his 100%. What does that mean? That means if we're able to say that this donkey belongs to Reuven 100%, why does it belong to Reuven 100%? Because Reuven had a donkey, and this donkey gave birth to the donkey that he sold. So when he's selling the donkey, we know that it was born by Reuven. So in that case, we know for sure.
Was pregnant.
No, the mother belonged to Reuven.
Yes.
And the mother gave birth to the donkey that he's selling.
The donkey brought this little donkey with Reuven.
With Reuven.
So Reuven,
and Reuven
only the baby or the mother?
Reuven is selling the baby.
Now, okay. No.
Yafe. What does that help us if Reuven is selling the baby donkey?
You know,
that we know that no questions asked, it belongs to Reuven, right? So he says, if we know for a fact that the donkey belongs to Reuven, then Reuven doesn't have to come and testify for Shimon. Why not? Because now we know that the goy, when he came to grab the donkey, what happened? He's just stam a stealer. He's just stam a ganaf, right? What would happen back in the day? Very often back in the day, goyim, they would come and they would just grab your property without saying anything, get lost, right? They'll grab a person's property and say, get lost. So over here, when we know, when we know for a fact that the donkey belonged to Reuven, and the goy comes and grabs it from Shimon, so now what do we say? We say, listen, this goy is not interested in the truth. He doesn't care about what the truth is. So in this case, we absolve. We say, Reuven, you don't have to work hard to try to get the donkey back for Shimon. Why? Because we already know this guy. He just stole it, and he doesn't care about the deen. If there's the case, meaning we're not sure, maybe the donkey belonged to Reuven, the donkey didn't belong. So then we obligate Reuven to go fight for the donkey for Shimon's sake. But if it's just that the goy stole it, we don't make Reuven fight hard. Huh? What do you want?
The goy doesn't obey.
There's a guy who comes to steal from you. I'm not gonna go.
Yeah, but don't forget, we're talking about a period where the goyim they weren't simple. Meaning, you start fighting with him for the donkey when he really stole it. What is he likely to do? Hashem Yishmol, it's sometimes it could be sakanat nefashot. No, if it happens, no. If it happens like that, if Reuven gets back the donkey afterwards, then automatically he's gonna have to give it back to Shimon. That's no question asked, right? That's no question, because we know that if a goy steals something, we saw it before that if a goy steals something, he never gets a chazakah in it.
Never.
And then what's gonna happen? Shimon is gonna come and say to Reuven, "Hey, wait a second, you sold me this donkey. Yeah, but I bought it from the goy. The goy stole it from me. So he's gonna have to give it back." Okay. Vilo amran ela deno anisle lidide ulukva aval anisle lidide ulukva lo. Another instance would be if he stole the donkey and the saddle. What does that mean? That means when the goy, he comes and he takes the donkey together with the saddle that's on the donkey. When he does that, what does that show? That shows that the goy, he's not interested in the truth again. Why? Because if he steals the saddle as well, we see that he's just taking whatever it is. If he takes the donkey and he leaves the saddle, Zilo Ganav. That's exactly the point. If he takes the donkey and he leaves the saddle, what is he showing? The goy is showing, you know what I'm doing? I'm taking my donkey because I believe that the donkey belongs to me. And I'm not a thief, and that's why he leaves the saddle. But if he's taking the saddle, what is he showing? He's showing that he doesn't care about anything, and then Reuven is not going to have to fight again. Okay? Amemar says, Afilu leka kolhani, even if you don't have all this, Reuven doesn't have to fight for Shimon. Why? Maitama meida yada destam oved kochavim anasu, because most of the goyim, the majority of the goyim, were anasim. They would just steal things without anything. So what difference does it make? Shneimar asher pihem di bershav viminam yemin shaker. Right? They speak lies and they're and there's no truth to them. Yeah. Says the Gemara, Uman en lo chazaka. A craftsman, we learned in the Mishnah, a craftsman doesn't have chazaka, meaning that if the field or the object was by the craftsman for 3 years, it's not considered to be chazaka. Says the Gemara, Amar Rabba, Rabba says, Lo shna ela shemasar lo be'edim. This was only true if he gave it to the person, the owner, Reuven, gave it to the craftsman, Shimon, with edim. Aval masalo shelo be'edim, but if Reuven gave it to the craftsman without edim, mitoch shiachol lomar lo hayu dvarim me'olam, ki amarle nami lekucha hi biadi meheman. If Reuven gave the item to the craftsman, Shimon, without any witnesses, what can Shimon say? Shimon has the possibility of saying, listen, you never gave this to me. It was mine to begin with. It's mitakterin, right? So you gave this to me to begin with. What are you talking about? It's not yours. So now that he's coming and he's saying, no, it was yours, but you sold it to me, we believe him. Mikoach migu. Right? Mikoach migu, we believe him.
But if it's a craftsman, that's a craftsman?
Yeah.
But we sell the craftsman anyway. We don't know.
Normally the craftsman, we said, normally the craftsman has no chazakah.
That's it.
But over here, because he gave it to him shelo be'edim, he gave it to him without edim, so now the craftsman has a migu. He can say...
Wait a second. My question is like that. If we don't believe, let's say believe him. If we don't believe it to begin with, because he's a man, everybody come to give him things, right? So the migu will not work.
No.
Yeah. Anybody not going to believe him because Oman, any Oman, everybody come bring me this to fix it. But it's all mine? No, it belongs to you guys. That's why the law is you cannot believe it because I'm Oman.
And that's why normally
you cannot work on it because the chazakah will not work.
That's why you normally need edim. If you don't have edim, what is the guy gonna say? The guy's gonna say, "Who said you gave this to me?"
You.
Yes, that's the migu. The migu.
אבל מיגו לא יכול לתפוס עליו. If he wasn't Oman, was not Oman, and nobody bring it to him, yes, he could come.
So
and
wait
say,
a second. You mean to say what you meant to say is that what Uman is not gonna have a chazakah for anything that belongs to the Uman?
Let's say at least the things that he practice. Let's say he fixes things.
Why? He's a craftsman. A shoemaker is not gonna have his own shoes.
No.
A shoemaker, he's not gonna have his own shoes.
Yeah, he will have his own shoes.
Okay, so he says this shoe belongs to me. Go prove that it's yours now. He doesn't have edim, so therefore he's gonna have the migu.
today we give a receipt with the number of the thing. Sale. But there's no receipt though. They give it.
Says the Gemara. Yeah. Amar le Abaye. So Abaye said back to him, Ihachi afilu be'edim. Even if the object was given to him be'edim, nami mitoch sheyachol lomar hichzarti lecha ki amar le lekucha hi bi'adi meheman. So says Abaye, wait a second. If so, why can't the craftsman say, you gave it to me be'edim, no problem. But you know what? I gave it back to you. And after I gave it back to you, I bought it. So why can't he just claim from the beginning, I bought it. I bought it from you directly. Right? Says the Gemara, Amar le Rabba, Mi Sava, do you really think המפקיד אצל חברו בעדים, אינו צריך להחזיר לו בעדים? לא סרקדת, אלא המפקיד אצל חברו בעדים, צריך להחזיר לו בעדים. If a person gives you something with edim, what's going to happen? How do you have to give it back to him? You have to give it back to edim, so he's never going to be able to claim something like that, because if he wants to claim something like that, he's going to have to bring the edim to prove it. Okay? Meitive Abaye. Abaye asks a question now. Ra'a avdo, it's biyad uman. Vitalito biyad koves, or his garment in the hands of a launderer. Right? Omer lo, ma tivo etzlecha? Ata macharta li ota, netato li b'matana, lo amar klum. The guy comes, Reuven comes to the craftsman, he sees his slave by him. He sees, or his garment that he gave him to wash. He says, what is this doing by you? Saying, you sold it to me. You gave it to me with a present. We don't believe it. Okay? Bifanai, but if he says, Bifanai amarta lo, limochro lo velitino lo b'matana dvarav kaimim. But if he says that he says it what? He says it in the third person. That what? That he told someone else, that someone else told him that that it belongs to him, or he sold it to him. Then it works, right? Meaning, when he claims directly versus the owner that it belongs to him because he gave it to him as a present, he's not believed. But if he says that the owner gave it to someone else to give to him, now he's believed. Okay? Says the Gemara, Maishna Reisha, Umaishna Seifa. Okay? What's the difference between the two? Why over here does the Seifa, he has to say that it's in the name of someone else? Amar Rabba, Seifa biyotze tachat yedei acher, v'ka'amar le acher b'fanai amarta lo lemochro v'litno lo b'matana. Okay, so what's happening in the Seifa? In the case where he had an intermediary, he had a third person, now it's already a third person involved. It's not between the two of them. That's why in the case of the Seifa, he would be believed. But in the Reisha, where there's only him and him, he's not believed. Okay? Why? He could say, he sold it. Says the Gemara, Ki amarle nami bifanai amarta lo lemochod dvarav kaimin umeheman katani mihat Reisha. Okay? So he says, the Gemara, he could have said the migu that what? I bought it directly from you. So that's why when he tells it to him, Ki amar le nami b'fanai amarta lo lemochro. So then if he tells it, if he involves a third person, since he could have involved just him and him directly, therefore when he involves a third person, it's going to be okay. Okay, so that's going to be the difference between the Reisha and the Sefta. Says the Gemara, Katani mihat. Reisha, it said in the Reisha that what? Ra'a hechidami. Right? That he saw the object by him. In the beginning we said he saw the object by him, he comes in person. Hechidami. What is the case? Id ikaedim. Okay, if there is edim, lama li ra'a. What does he need to say? He saw the thing. Just take the edim and take it back. Elalav deleka edim. We're talking about there's no edim. V'chi ra'a mi hatafis le. Okay, and even if there's no edim, what happens? The owner can take it back. Okay? Says the Gemara. Says the Gemara. Lo. Why? Because right now we're having a question. Right now, based on what Rava said before, we said that if there's no edim, the owner can, the craftsman, he can come and he can still claim it's his. But over here, from based on what we said right now, we see that it's not true. Meaning, what Abaye is saying, that you need a third person to come and to clarify. It's not enough. Says the Gemara, lo. Le'olam de'ika edim. Vehu dera'a. Veha את הוא דאמרת, המפקיד אצל חברו בעדים, צריך לפרעו בעדים. Says the Gemara, wait a second. If there was edim, right? What did Rava say if there's edim? Then he's going to have to pay back with the edim, right? What happened? We're talking about the case.
There is a edim, he pays back.
No, not that he pays back. He has to pay back in front of the edim, right?
The transaction in front of you.
If he did it with edim originally, Rabba said that he needs to do it back with edim. So how come you're establishing this case to be with edim? And you say, he has a migu, that maybe he can say that, I gave it back to you without the edim, and then I bought it from you afterwards again. But didn't you yourself, Rabba, say that if you give it be'edim, you need to have the edim back? Okay, Elmaleh, hadribi. No, I went back from my opinion. I took back the opinion, and really he doesn't need to give it back in front of edim. Okay.
But then he will open the Pandora box.
That what? Yeah, but the guy,
the ping will never end.
100%. But that's why he has a responsibility. He has a responsibility to get it back with edim. If he didn't, he lost out. Okay. Now, Mativ Rava lisiyu le Rabba. Rava wants to bring now a proof to Rabba. Hanoten tarito leuman. Uman omer, שתיים קצצת לי, והלא אומר לא קצצתי לך אלא אחת. He gives the garment to an uman, to a craftsman, to fix up, okay? And the uman says, we settled on a price of 2 coins. Okay? And he says, no. The person who gave the garment says, no, I only settled on 1 coin. Elachat. It says, Kol zman shatalit biyad uman al ba'al habayit le'avi raya. As long as the talit is in the hands of the uman, who has to bring the proof? The owner. Natna lo, but if he gives natna lo bizmano, if he gave it if he gave it back to him, if the uman gave the garment back to the owner, bizmano, as long as it's within the time period that he has to pay, which we learned before was that specific day or that specific night, depending on when he received it. Nishba vinotel. The craftsman can swear, and he's going to take 2 like what he claims is owed to him. Avar zmano, but once the time passes, meaning, avar zmano batal kavano, bidyuk. Hamotzi mechavero alav haraya. It's going to be now a case of hamotzi mechavero alav haraya, and therefore, if the uman wants to take 2 coins, he's going to have to prove how at the time of the transaction there was really it was really promised 2 as opposed to 1. Says the Gemara, if it was in front of edim, why do we need to get to this whole thing? Just let's bring the edim and ask them what's exactly. Elalav deleka edim vekatani uman meheman migu di bay amarle lekucha hi biadi. So now we're going to get to the whole thing where the uman. We're going to see now in the Gemara, Be'ezrat Hashem, we're going to see in the Gemara tomorrow that that there's no edim, and he has a migu, right, which is going to support the original opinion of Rava that we were learning before, and this is exactly Rabba, and this is exactly what Rava is trying to bring as a proof.
What is the migu that did?
He could say, okay, so he says the ibaya lekucha hi biadi. He could say that I bought it really, and then I'm giving it to you and I'm selling it to you, not that I'm just fixing it for you.
So if I'm fixing it, really, that means I'm not lying.
So no, so he says I'm selling it to you now for 2 coins. Again, he's claiming the guy is claiming what? We settled on, the Uman is saying we settled on 2. The owner is saying we settled on 1. What can the because there's no edim now. What can the craftsman say?
Mine.
I made it. I'm selling it to you for 2. Right? So he has a migu that he could say, I'm selling it to you for 2 instead of just fixing it to you for 2. So this is what he's trying to bring. And Be'ezrat Hashem, we're going to see this more in detail tomorrow. Amen. Amen.